Welcome to Business and Happiness Podcast. I'm your host, Braco Pobric. This episode is sponsored by Life Success Academy, a place where you recreate your business and personal happiness. My guest today is Carolyn King, business owner, positive psychology master coach, and kinesiologist. Okay, so we talked about just general social media and business and what people should know if they decide to use it. And now let's talk about where do you start, right? So I know I need to use social media and there's so many different options. What do I do? Where do I start? Let me just get started with social media. Can you help me?
It can be overwhelming, can't it? There's so much out there. Where do I go? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Obviously, it depends on who you are and who your audience is. But I know for me, the first place I started was Facebook. I started a Facebook page. It was easy. It was free. And I think once you get 20 likes and you just get your friends to like it, you can actually have your own URL. So you can create, so it's not just the random letters that come up to facebook.com. You can actually have your business name afterwards. So Facebook is a great place to start. And what's great about the Facebook page, it's a great substitute if you don't have a website because it allows you to put all your services. It allows you to put how much it costs. It allows you to put where you are. It allows you, I don't use it, but it actually allows you to have scheduling in there as well. So not only are you posting, but it's a great place to put who you are on social media.
Right. So you already did, but just if we can explain a little deeper, some people may not understand or know difference between, everybody says Facebook, and that means Facebook profile. And then there is a Facebook page, which you just mentioned. There's also something called Facebook group. So difference between profile and page. What's the major difference between these two?
I use my Facebook page on a little bit more of a personal level. It is where I'm able to connect with people around the world. In saying that, I use it on a business level as well. So what's great about your personal page is you can accept friends from your family to colleagues and you can segregate them. So you can say, when you do a post, I want to share this to everybody, or I want to share this only to my family, or I only want to share it to my colleagues. So your Facebook page is more about you. I know for me, I wouldn't use my Facebook page too much about business because I feel like that's your personal place.
Really? Because a lot of people use page for business.
They do. And I think the limitation there, and they may have changed it, is I believe you can only have up to 5,000 friends, which people can follow you and not be friends, but you can run out of friends, as in there's a cap on how many people you can be friends with. So they use the personal page, I think, because Facebook want connections and you may get a bit more reach. But I don't think your personal page can't share all your services. Your personal page doesn't share how much it costs. Your personal page is not the same as a business page where you can have, these are all my services. I do this coaching and I do this and I do this and I do this. You can book in here and you can book in here. So your business page allows you to do all of that. Your personal page doesn't allow you to have that same detail about your business.
So let me ask you this, and maybe we're talking about the same thing when you said personal page and business page. When you said personal page, are you referring to at least what's in the old days called Facebook profile? Is that what you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's when you said page, because in my mind, and maybe this is in the old days, there was a profile. This is where you have a friends and you can separate them into groups. And then you have a business page, which is about business.
Yes.
Okay. So you're referring to as a page, as a personal page, which is basically your Facebook profile as a Carolyn King.
So I have my personal page, which is me, and it's Carolyn King. And then I have my business page, which is Empowered Happiness. And that's where you can't friend request me, you just like it.
Okay. So we are talking the same thing. I just called it profile and page, but thank you.
Okay. Because some people do use their personal profile as a business page. Some people do that.
Yeah, I don't recommend it either. Like,
No, I don't recommend that either.
Because as you said, they not allow you to add the services and to do so many things as you. Okay, so we got that, what we call Facebook profile or personal page. Then we have what we call another Facebook page and or business page, right? Now let's move to groups, which I know both of us been using for many years. So let's move to Facebook groups. What is that? Why use it or why not?
To be honest, I would only start to open a group when you feel safe and connected and have the time, because a group is where you create like a community. It's where you're more interactive. It's where you're allowing other people to post in your group if that's what you allow. It's where you become the expert. Now, you can do a lot of that on your page, absolutely. But I find with a group, you have more choice. Is it a closed group? Oh, let's make it a closed group. No one else can see me in here. This must be a good group. Let me get in there. And it can create mystery for some people. It may be, well, I want to be part of that group because there's stuff going on in there and I can't see it unless I'm in there. What's great about that is you choose who you let into your group. On your page, anyone can like your page. Now, obviously, you can block anyone at any point. So if you feel threatened by anyone, please do what you need to do to block them. But in your group, you can allow whoever you want in there. And at that point of allowing them in, you can ask them questions and you can capture their email address, which is really cool. You can ask them, what would you like from this group, so that you can get a little bit of feedback on how you want to run the group. But the email address is the key, because once they're on your database, you can market to them at any time, which is really, really cool. And I think that's really important to understand. All these social media pages are fantastic, but you don't own them.
You don't own nothing on social media. I keep telling this to my clients. Oh, I need to get more Facebook, followers. I need this, I need that.
You need email addresses.
But you need email address. Without email, you have nothing.
You own. They can
Yes.
shut you down. That you own your email address.
Yes, and they gave you the right to use it. They gave you their email. Right?
But groups are great, and groups. I think Facebook have done a really good job at extending what you can do in groups. You can create rooms and you can create events and you can do all sorts of things in Facebook. It's really just having a play with what you're comfortable with. But to start with, a page is probably the best place to start.
Personal page or business page.
Business page. Oh yeah, I think you need a personal page to start a business page. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, you need to have your personal profile. Yes, you do. You do. So okay, so this is, if we assume, I would think, people have that personal page or personal profile. Most people do, unless they say, I don't want to be on social media. Because I had a client who basically said, I used to be on Facebook and I just don't want to waste any of my time on Facebook, but I like to be member of your group. So what a lot of people do is they will use another email that they never actually use, and they will come into the group. People won't even know to connect with them using that profile, right? So that's what people do. They don't want to be on social media, but they want to be part of our community. Did you find that also?
Yes, I have clients that have used aliases on Facebook because they don't want to be found by certain people. So they'll join my group and then later I'll get, that's me. Okay. So they use a different name, they use a different profile, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I think if that's how they want to be, and some people are very, they are worried about their privacy, and that's absolutely fine. So I would say that's, as long as you feel safe letting people into your group and knowing that you can do whatever you want, you have full control. And I think that's what I love about groups, is if someone disrespects someone else or whatever it is, you're able to just quickly delete them out of the group, block them out of the group. And I have done that. I have deleted people from the group because of behaviour or things that they've said. But I do believe, please be mindful when you're on social media, and we really need to know this. What you put out there is a reflection of you, so you have a responsibility of what you put out there.
Agreed. I guess years ago, what was it? I think it was Space. Is it called Space or something?
There was something
My
called MySpace. I never went
MySpace,
on it.
right? I
MySpace.
think
Yeah,
when
I don't remember. Yeah, I remember the name.
yeah, I think when my son was little, it was a MySpace, and then kids started opening an account, and you were always worrying about because you cannot delete that. There was a gentleman that used to work for me years ago, and people found things about him that and he was let go from the company. I mean,
Hmm.
so you really want to be careful. But look, people that we're talking to, they know this stuff. They're business people, and they want to figure out how to use social media for business. So, okay, now in a group, you also mentioned we know there are open groups and closed groups, and both of us decided to have a closed groups. In my case, I only allow my students to join the group. And then in your case, it's also a closed group, but you ask them some questions like I do, and then based on some answers, or based on their answers rather, you decide if they belong to the group or not. Is that how you do it?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and you actually do that great thing how you ask people if they would like to share email. To be honest with you, I've heard that from you a long time ago. I haven't used that until you told me. And I think if people just pick up this one little tip, it's worth years of work because it took me years to learn this finally.
And
Um,
but offer them something because people aren't just going to hand over their email address. So for me, I offer them a few things. I just say, "Would you like to get my free chapter, or would you like a meditation, or whatever?" I think I've got a few things, and then they give me their email address, and I can add them to my database.
exactly, same thing, same thing. We offer, it could be 2 weeks of membership, could be a
Yeah.
course, could be same thing. So you really have to give them something, just like when and we're not going to go into the website, but people who understand the website and something called lead magnet and this, so you always have to give something for free for the exchange of them providing their email address. I mean, that's how world works today, right?
Absolutely.
So I think we covered Facebook like pretty much in details, right? For business, what people should do. Um, how about should we cover LinkedIn a little bit more for business people?
Yeah. Look, I like LinkedIn. LinkedIn for me, I find is more of a business platform. You can still have your personality come through, but it's a different market. It is a totally different market to who's on Facebook. I find Facebook is a little bit more fun, a little bit more not as business orientated, even though you're running a business on it. Whereas I find LinkedIn, the people on LinkedIn are looking for informative content. Would you find that, Gutzel?
Yes.
And LinkedIn's an interesting place in that people can see what you posted. They can go to your profile. You can see who checks your profile, for starters, where you can't see on Facebook who checks you out. You can on LinkedIn, you know who's checking your profile out. You can see on LinkedIn, it's you can even see what people comment on and what they like. So LinkedIn, I find you have to be a little bit more mindful of who you follow and what you like and what you post because people can see that. So you want to, depending on how you want your personality to come across, and you touched on something important before, Bratzel, that someone lost their job. If you are going for a job at any point, people will check your social media, and LinkedIn will be one of those places they check. Who are you? What do you like?
100%. With the LinkedIn, I know a lot of my clients asking questions, and there are a couple of different scenarios, right? So one is they might have a full-time job, and now they're getting into coaching and or teaching. So in that case, they just have to be careful what they share and how, because if you have a full-time job, that is your main focus. All right. This other thing that you're trying to build is after hours, it's weekend, and it's something that you don't want to post during the business hours. Unfortunately, I do see a lot of people on LinkedIn that I know have a full-time job and keep posting during business hours. I don't even care if it's scheduled. Don't do it. I used to schedule them, but they will go 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And they were scheduled. So be mindful of that because you don't want your employer to, go out and say, what is this person doing all day on LinkedIn, right? building
Look,
your own business.
absolutely. I was honest with my boss when I was working part-time and building my business. I was honest. They knew I was building a business, but I didn't do anything during work hours. I was very clear that these are my work hours when I was working for them, and these are my business hours in terms of creating my business. So yes, it's being, and look, depending on your boss, I think
Yes.
it's important to be transparent with your boss. I don't know. I was lucky enough that I could be open and honest with my bosses, that I could tell them, yeah, I'm building a business on the side. That's why I'm doing this part-time and I'm doing this part-time. And they were both part-time. So I didn't have to hide anything.
Right. I understand. I see some people doing, again, there's nothing wrong. Most companies will never question it. It's a social media. You have a right to take 5 minute break, and just like you would go out, for 5 minutes, take a walk. But again, I just said these certain rules that I followed, and I think if you follow them, it just, it will be much clearer.
And you've got a point there. If you work for a business and the business you're creating is in opposition to the business you work for, or could hurt your reputation in the business you work for, then you do need to be mindful of that.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
absolutely true. You have to take into consideration where you work and what
Yes.
you're creating. And is there opposition there, or is there any kind of clashing that could happen?
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Because that could affect you going forward. So, yeah.
Right. So then if you think of LinkedIn, it's actually, LinkedIn has a very similar structure as a Facebook. So there is a LinkedIn profile, which is basically your name, your job history, a description of the job, when you worked on, and so on. So that's the first thing you set. Then many years ago, I created, and I think you can do them today, group. So basically, there was a closed group of, it was very similar, and I think it's the same thing today. It was a closed group, and I would only allow certain people. Back then were just folks who practice positive psychology. And they also have LinkedIn page, just like Facebook has a Facebook page. Now, LinkedIn page is a great thing to create a business page. Now you have your personal profile, and your LinkedIn page is all about your business. This is where you can sell the services. And lately, LinkedIn also allows a live streaming. However, you have to be approved. So unlike on Facebook, where you can just go live today, and at the time of this recording, you cannot go live on LinkedIn until you are approved. So you basically have to apply for it.
Yeah, I think you're an expert in that more than me. My experience on LinkedIn is just my personal page at the moment, only because, and one of the things we've talked about is do what you can within your capacity. My capacity is at the moment to only have my personal page on LinkedIn, but I know you've got a little bit more on there, and I am a part of a few groups on LinkedIn, so I am aware that there are groups there. But yeah, I think it's your capacity. Where do you want to sit, and how much time do you have? And yeah, I think you're the expert in that. I think you've been approved to do Facebook, LinkedIn lives, haven't you?
I have recently, and I'm basically just putting a schedule now to figure out, because as you know, this is becoming my full-time job, so that's going to be fun, and I have so much time to schedule my live weekly on LinkedIn. So that will be good to focus on business only. Okay, so we covered Facebook, we covered LinkedIn. Why don't we give them a few more? I was thinking there's another one that's free that doesn't require you to do a lot of work. You could, but it doesn't require you to do a lot of work. And it's probably one of the most important free thing you can do for your business. Tell them, what is it?
Is it Instagram or YouTube? Because I've still got two in my head.
So we'll cover Instagram, we'll cover YouTube, and then we'll also cover Google Business Page.
Yes, Google Business. There's a few. I think they're all important. Which one were you talking about, Braco?
So pick one. We'll go with that.
Look, Instagram is great because it's quick. You can quick, punchy posts, stick them on there. I think the younger people are more on your Instagram. So again, it depends on your demographic and where you want to be. Instagram has some new wonderful features, Instagram Reels, Instagram TV, videos. So they are doing a lot more. So it's really about having a play. And I'm still playing with that. So I still haven't figured all of that out yet. But do you know what? Once you get comfortable, you start having a play. You just have a go. And once you learn to go, you know what? If I get no likes, oh well. And if I get 100, awesome. It's about just playing in seeing what works for you.
So tell me about Instagram Reels versus what's a TV and video? Is that different or is it
Yeah,
all
they're
the
different.
Reels?
So the Reels, I believe, they're more recent. I think it's a bit like bringing TikTok into Instagram. Now, I don't know TikTok at all, so I won't even talk about TikTok. I know people that are doing well on TikTok, but it's not a platform I've played with. I believe Insta Reels are about 30 seconds, and it's a quick, punchy video. And from what I understand is that the algorithms in Reels, it goes further out than just your posts. So it's really cool. So I have had up to almost 1,000 views on some of my Insta Reels, and then I've had others that have bombed at 10 or 20. I don't know what I've done. So I'm still playing with that. I do believe with Insta Reels, it's the content as well as the time. You cannot schedule Reels. You need to do them and load them up at that time. And they have some really cool features and making them look pretty and whatever else.
So you don't have to go live, but you have to put them in at the time of, okay, you don't have to go live.
Instagram TV, I believe you do go live. And I think it's one of those things that can be as long as you want it to be. Videos, you don't have to be live. You can upload a video, and they usually, in terms of your normal posting on Instagram, I think they can be up to a minute. And yeah, I think they can be a minute. I used to do videos up to a minute on Instagram. I don't do them at the moment. And yeah, the Instagram TV goes live and it's a bit longer. I think it can be as long as you want. I don't know what the time limit is on an Instagram TV. To be honest, I haven't done that. I haven't played with that, only because, again, it's time and where do I put my time? So, but what I love about Instagram is instant. It's an instant hit. It's quick. It's fun. What I do understand, though, is the way the algorithms work is they want to keep you on your post as long as possible. So creating a post which is a little video or has so you can do up to 10 little pictures on an Instagram post. If they're scrolling, someone is spending more time on your profile, and I believe that does well for your profile. Instagram also has the hashtags, so you use the hashtags that work. So again, you play around with hashtags to help people find you. Now, we said something interesting before in that we don't own our content on social media. And for me, I learnt that because I had an Instagram account that had almost 1,000 followers, and I lost that instantly because, well, to be honest, I don't know why I lost it, but Instagram deleted the account and I've had to start from scratch. So that was a perfect example for me on how quickly it can be taken away from you. And in this instance, there was no one for me to talk to. So I lost all that, which is fine. It's a learning curve, and it is what it is. But it allowed me just to start again, and all the videos I had posted are gone. But I mean, I've got all of them I can repost them if I want to. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, it's about building it again. So I hope I've answered some of the questions with Instagram. The thing is, just start off simple. Just post. Don't worry about the Reels and the Instagram TV and all the other stuff. Just post. And what's great, what is really great, and I don't know if you know this, Braco, and you may know this, is if you post on Instagram, you can link your Instagram and your Facebook business page together. And when you post on Instagram, you can tick a little button that says post on Facebook page as well. And suddenly you've got the same content pushed out to 2 different platforms instantly.
So, question. I know you and I are using the scheduling software. So now that you said, and I also do know that you can connect Instagram, I think, with a profile as well, personal Facebook profile and a Facebook page. Yes. What's the advantage of this if you're already using scheduling software, or is there advantage?
I think there's an advantage because My scheduling software posts once a day. But as I said to you, sometimes during the day I go, oh, I just want to post something random during the day. I can go to Instagram. I don't have to open my scheduling program. I can go to Instagram, post whatever it is, and push it out to my business page at the same time without having
Mhm.
to think. So for me, I use both. I use
Okay,
both.
it
Yeah, it
makes
just
sense.
depends on what I'm doing and where. If I'm out and about and I'm going for a walk and I go, wow, what a beautiful tree, and I just want to post it on my socials, I can post that straight away. I don't have to come home and put it on my scheduling program.
Oh, makes sense. I understand now why you do that. So, okay, so that's about Instagram. And we just learned from you again. I am totally new to Instagram, platform that I just started using. And I do I know about Insta Reels, but I didn't know about TV and video. So I suggest people to just go out there and test it, check it out. Before we said Instagram, before we go to next platform, I have a question about Pinterest. Do you use that? Have you used it?
No, I haven't. I've been on there and I've had a play. I haven't set up a profile. I honestly don't know enough about it. It is a platform I could possibly be on because I know people do put quotes on there, but it's not somewhere. Again, it's how much time do you have and where's your audience?
I think that's the key. The reason I'm asking because I think I created a profile many, many years ago, was posting something, but I don't see Pinterest to be as popular anymore. And I've heard from some experts, if there is one platform that you want to be on today as a new business owner, that's Instagram. He said I would post 3 times a day on Instagram. Because think about when you post, it's not always when the people your folks are on. So that's something that, posting a couple of times a day, it could be a lot. But if we schedule it and if we do research and do believe that that's important, maybe we do schedule a couple of times a day. I don't know, but just as an
I
idea.
think Instagram likes real life. Instagram, as much as
Uh,
posts are great, they do like real life. So they like the real life stuff, like when you're out and about walking or catching up with friends, or they like those instant posts that are literally about what's going on in your life. So it can be a bit more personal. It doesn't have to be, but again, when we're talking about bringing a personality through, I think it's a good place to do that.
I guess that's why the keyword Insta.
That's right, instantly.
Okay, so we cover Pinterest. So we said Google Biz. How about Twitter? Did we talk about Twitter?
We didn't. I don't know much. I opened a Twitter account many years ago. I still haven't posted on Twitter. So again, it's
Okay.
a time thing. It's I don't know. I've considered looking back into it. I don't know if that's where my clients are.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
finding the time. And we mentioned YouTube briefly too. And YouTube,
Yes.
it's great to have a YouTube channel, but again, it depends on what you're doing and what information you want to give out there because YouTube is video. And if you're not comfortable in front of a video, if you're not comfortable talking, then it's not a platform for you at the moment, and that's fine.
Agreed. Agreed. So just coming back to Twitter. The reason I think Twitter is so important is because, again, going back to our earlier discussion, when somebody Googles you, I guarantee Twitter will be on page one if you are tweeting. So they will see immediately what you're doing. So it's pretty cool that they see that you're posting, you're active, and they'll see what you're posting about. So I think one reason. That's the reason I started using scheduling, putting on as many platforms as possible. And even if it's the same content, later on, yeah, they should be separated, different thing to LinkedIn, different. But like, even if it's the same, you're putting all these things out there so that Google will find you. And that will get us, let's talk about YouTube a little more as we start, then we'll move to Google. So you're right, with YouTube, it's a video. You have to be comfortable being on video. But you and I know that there are people making millions. I mean, really making a ton of money just doing YouTube videos. And I really didn't understand that. How do they make this money? I mean, there are so many different ways. I don't know if you want to cover that.
Look, I think part of it is ads. So I think you can get
Yes.
they put ads on your content. Some people use YouTube as their platform for courses because you've got different ways of putting. When you put something on YouTube, you can be public, so anyone can see it. You can have it unlisted, so people can only get the link, only people that you allow. And I think then there's private. So I think there's 3 levels.
Yes.
So if you had unlisted, for instance, great way to, if you don't have a platform for your course, it could be a starting point for your course that you just send them the links. I mean, the danger is anyone could share those links with anyone, but it is a starting point. So there are different ways to make money on there. And who knows? I mean, they've picked up singers and, they've picked up lots of people on YouTube. So it's another place for people to learn to get to know you.
True. And the other way that you could connect that YouTube with the business is a great way. They have you basically just have to learn how to use all the fields that they have. And the first one you need to learn is description. And description, basically, again, when somebody Googles you, the first 2 rows will come up. And then they'll click on more. And then you can actually do the cross links to everything else that you have. You can do cross-link to podcast. You can do cross-link to your web page. You can do cross-link to your courses and so on. And I think the key is that, which we should have mentioned in the beginning, that one has to look at the big picture. And
Yes.
if you're just doing one piece by piece, that's not enough. You have to look at the big picture and say, if I decide that I'm going to be on social media, how do I connect all these big pieces so that helps my business? I mean, I think that's really the key. How do I cross-connect all these links so that Google search engine will help me a lot improve my business, right? Don't you think that's important?
Yeah, and I've done it with some of I have to admit on YouTube, sometimes I've forgotten, but I do quite often put in there, if you want more information, go to my website or go to my Facebook group, wherever I want to drive them to at that point. So absolutely.
Yes. And people also say that, if you do YouTube, that in the video, you'll see if you look at these YouTubers, they'll always say, oh, please subscribe. And, don't forget to subscribe, which I have a YouTube account for many, many years, and I was just posting videos. I never pushed to get subscribers, but I do know that helps so much with the search engine. And then we move into Google Business Page. So now somebody set up a business, and they may or may not have a website. As you mentioned, they could start with a Facebook page, business page. They could start with a LinkedIn business page. But how about the Google Business Page? I think that's awesome. I think that's like the best thing that Google ever invented for us for free.
I agree, because if someone's not on Facebook or not on Instagram or not on social media, chances are they're still Googling. And Google Pages is a great way to put details about your business, details about your services, specials. I've started to use it to drive traffic, so I'll do a post and go check out my Facebook page, check out my website. I'm playing around with that just to see what I get. The most recent one, and I don't think it's really worked, but I've tried it anyway, was just a nice little quote and said, if you want more, check out my Facebook page. It may be working. I don't know. I haven't had a look at it, but I play with it just to see where I'm driving people. And it's a great place for specials. It's a great place to update people, especially right now, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. We're in COVID, there's lockdowns. It's a great place to update your potential clients as to, what your hours are, what your opening hours are.
Right. And, as you said, you can basically create a link to your products, to your services. The other thing that you can do is do the postings. Like I do daily posting that goes everywhere and goes on business page as well. So there's a lot of, content coming in. And again, Google loves that. Mm-hmm. And, if people Google you, your Google business, if they Google you by your business name, then the Google business page will be right on that page on the right-hand side, right? So they click on it, they can see the reviews and so on. So it's really, really cool.
Awesome. It's a great platform, and it's free, so use it.
And it's free. There's actually one thing, also one more thing that I wanted us to mention, which is becoming more and more popular. And it's becoming really, really one of the keys for SEO, and it's a podcast. That's really what we're doing now, right? It's a podcast.
It is. But you have to do it when you feel comfortable. I mean, if you feel comfortable doing it straight away, go for it. Do it.
You're right. You do have to feel comfortable, but if you don't feel comfortable being, on screen on big TV, you can just do the audio, because podcast is the audio, except that, we found a better way to use the podcast. So maybe we can basically share with people now. How's that?
Sure.
So here's what we're doing. So we're doing this little video, right? So depending what are you watching a video, are you listening to the podcast? But basically, it's a podcast. It's published as a podcast. Then it will be published as the video. Then we're going to take little bits of this video, and we could then, right? We could use it for Insta Reel. We could use it for some Facebook videos. We could use it for YouTube. Then we can publish it on YouTube, right? Then we can take a quotes. I'm sure that you and I said some good things during this podcast. We can pull out our own quotes and create the quote cards. And then we can do transcript and have a little blog. So we have like 5-6 things that we can use out of this 20-30 minutes discussion.
And there's the content. We talked about content in our previous one. That's where you get your content from. You don't run out of content.
Bingo. You did 20 minutes and you have like so much content, you don't know what to do with it.
That's right.
So it sounds like we covered most of the social media. I mean, of course, there's a lot more.
There is more, and it's figuring out where you want to fit. But I think they're the main ones.
So we covered the main ones. Cool. Well, let's hope people will pick at least one advice we gave them, and it will help them improve their business and at the same time increase their happiness. Let's be
Absolutely.
happy and have a great business.
You've got to be happy when you're doing your social media. It comes through.
Yes. Otherwise, as you said earlier, don't do it.
That's right.
Don't do it. Sounds good. Hey, Carolyn, thank you so much. This was really fun discussion.
Thanks, Braco. Bye.
Bye-bye. Talk to you soon. Become the Life Success Academy founding member. Go to academyoflifesuccess.com and click on founding member to get 60% off full membership.